Hello, my friends who have been on a journey with me from trauma to trust. I want to start off this video by apologizing a little bit because it looks as if I've fallen off from the face of this earth. I've been spending a little bit of time trying to figure out what would be the best thing to do next. I will be sending you the link to the replays are attached to this video, to the email that this video is coming to you. And but I've also been mulling over what is the next step, what would be the most useful to you. What I'm being guided to do is to talk a little bit about chronic trauma. So we touched a little bit about on sort of acute trauma, when you lose someone, when you go bankrupt, when you lose a child, when a child falls sick, where, all those kinds of sort of acute things that we all go through in life. But what I'm learning as I think more about this topic is that after that acute trauma, we sort of settle into a chronic phase of trauma where the repercussions of that trauma are still around. So for me, in a sense, it is, how do I learn to live without a mom to whom I was so close? Or how do I gain trust again to get pregnant again once I lose a child at 28 weeks? And what does that loss, how does that impact how I deal with the child who comes, or with my children, and how does that affect how afraid I am of things that can go wrong? There is also the other sort of chronic stress that a lot of us have, which is the lack of money. Many people amongst us are in a chronic state of not having enough abundance, not having enough money, or kind of feast-famine situation where we bring in a lot of money and then something happens and we lose it. So that is another form of chronic trauma, where we're constantly trying to figure this out and trying to feel good about ourselves, but we are faced with this constant sense of not being good enough. And what do you do about that? How do you work yourself out of that situation? So, and I think learning to stay in trust while you are in acute trauma, in some instances, may be even easier than continuing to build trust or relax into trust when the trauma and the stress carries on over a period of time. And so that what I would like to do is, I would like to invite some of the guests that we had, and I'm thinking of also starting a hangout group in Google. I know I invited many of you into the Facebook group, but a lot of you were not, I think, comfortable joining it. And I don't know whether it's because Facebook is now such a public platform. So I'm going to give you the option of a Google Hangout group. And I want to invite some of the experts that we've had to address this issue. I might also invite others, some tapping experts, because I really love emotional freedom techniques and how the tapping helps me. So different ways in which to address the state of chronic trauma that results from acute trauma. And so that's the plan, to send you videos about that, and to share my journey with you. I'm going through that a little bit right now. There have been things that happened in my life that have, for the past several months, been a kind of chronic stressor, and I work on it through my meditations and my journaling, and and sort of my prayer, and those kinds of practices. And I want to share videos about my own practices with you as well. So it'll be a mixture of bringing in experts, me sending you some videos, plan to have a webinar sometime soon, just focusing on this issue of chronic trauma, and I will probably have a few experts on there as well. So in essence, I wanted to tell you that I haven't forgotten. I have been thinking about all of you a lot, and I've been just trying to figure out what the best way is to serve you, and what would be of greatest service to you. So this much I will tell you, that in the next, what I am committed to doing is to sending you a couple of videos a week. Typically Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I like to do it, and those will primarily be meditations and sort of connections to my blog, and what I how I developed my ideas about self acceptance. And then I will keep you posted on how my friend and I are developing some podcasts. We are also developing. I'm also in the process of planning and developing a webinar or multiple webinars where I can bring in some of these experts that I talk to in our Trauma to Trust series. If there are specific people that you would like to hear from again, or others that you know about that you think should be part of this work, let me know. Send me a reply to the email that this video is in, and I will make sure to bring them into our community. Also, if you have friends who would be helped with these Trauma to Trust series, please introduce them to the series. I've put a link into the opt-in page, and they can sign in and get access to all the replays which are about to start now. And the more people that hear it and see these messages, the more healing that we're spreading in the world, and the better the world is for that. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for listening. I thank you for being willing to be part of a community of healing. God bless you. I'll see you soon.